So now that after you've seen that video, I want you to answer, if you were terminally ill and suffering in constant pain and agony every day, like Brittany Minor, what would you choose to do? Would you choose to live, or would you want to have a choice yourself, to be in your own hands? What would you guys would do?
That's a hard question.
That's a hard question.
There's people always kind of try to keep a little hope that no, the cure will be found or something. But I think if instead of being veggies, I would probably want to decide to end up the life on my own.
Because it's no fun suffering, right?
Yeah.
And what is life if you can't enjoy it? All right, so the need that we need all states to be able to participate in this act, and that's not the case as of right now. An individual such as Brittany, as seen in her video, should not have to pick up her things and move to a state such as Oregon, which she did, just to die a peaceful life. Don't you guys think that? I mean, she shouldn't have to move and take up all her stuff and all her life just to be able to peacefully go instead of suffer in pain. Matt Petronazio states in his article, as of right now, only 5 states allow physician-assisted death, and an additional state is in the process of being passed for the Death with Dignity Act. That state is New Jersey. These states include Oregon, Washington, Vermont, Montana, New Mexico, and the pending state, as I just said, New Jersey. It is great that these states participate in this act, although by law you must be a resident and follow a series of steps in order to qualify for the Death with Dignity Act. States Petronazio. Petronazio also states, among other requirements, the steps to be certified are as follows. You can't just pick up the prescription and decide that it's time to go. That's another thing about this. There are steps. Number 1, you have to be 18 years of age or older. Number 2, a resident of the participating states. Number 3, capable of making and communicating healthcare decisions for him or himself. That means you cannot be a vegetable, in a vegetable state of mind, and obtain this act. You have to be physically able to tell your physician that you would like to choose to go in this way. And number 4, you have to be diagnosed with a terminal illness that will lead to death within 6 months, not years, not giving you hope that there might be a miracle it will not happen. You know that you are going to go in these 6 months. Physicians must determine whether this criteria have been all met for this act to be considered. There is also an oral request as follows. You must first have an oral request to your physician. Second, 15-day waiting period. 3, you need a second oral request to your physician. And 4, written request to your physician. 5, 48-hour waiting period before you can pick up your prescription by your pharmacy. And 6, the patient may pick up the prescription of meds from the pharmacy herself or himself. No physician or healthcare system is obligated to participate in this act. It's not an obligation. So I feel everyone should be granted this option or choice in the matter when dying of a terminal illness with only 6 months to live. A solution to avoid moving to another state, suffering from pain, and causing other long-term emotional setbacks would be to allow all states to participate in the Death with Dignity Act. All states should follow the same requirements and steps needed to become certified for the act. As Scotland on Sunday's article states, this is not assisted dying. This is a chance for a family to see a loved one go peacefully without struggle, pain, or discomfort. While there are many choices available right now that may be right for certain people, there is one more choice not currently available that deserves an honest discussion, states Bersacelli to the press. Now, so I'm sure the thought of religious point of views come to mind when comprehending this act. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. From a Christian standpoint, the thought of a miracle by the act of God is important to our biblical beliefs. Although the debate has largely focused on spirituality and ethics, but experts say new medical technology that has opened the door to the practice leaves religious organizations in a bind. Catholic leaders have long been supportive of pain management measures, up to and including high doses of morphine that slow a patient's respiration to the point of almost death. And Courtney Campbell, a professor of religion and culture at Oregon State University and an expert on faith and end-of-life issues. So, don't religious standpoints, aren't they against abortions, contraceptives? Aren't they shouldn't they be against painkillers as well? I mean, people still use birth control. People still have abortions. People still use painkillers to the point to slow their heart almost to death. So why is it not allowed to peacefully die if you're struggling in pain and there's no hope for you? If the religious tradition had toed the line firmly and said the death can't be hastened under any circumstances, it wouldn't have allowed palliative sedation death to occur. So the Catholic Church's opposition to contraception has changed, but Catholics in the United States use birth control and have abortions at about the same rate as a non-religious person, Campbell says. And he explained that in a dozen years, physician-assisted death has been legal in Oregon. About half of the nearly 400 people who have self-administered a lethal dose have been religious, even conservative. So it's stating a lot of religious people are participating in this act. So basically, what are your opinions on the act yourself? Like, do you, after listening to my views and the video of Brittany Maynard, do you have any questions?
I think it's definitely hard to decide when you're not in that situation, because I feel like my perspective right now is, oh, of course I would want to live like every day through, but like when you're in pain, when you're suffering, it's like a whole different question.
Yeah.
When you don't want to get out of bed because you're in so much pain, like that's not living life. You're just kind of wasting time. And essentially, like, what's the point of that? But then you have to like kind of factor in like, how does it affect everyone around you? Like, will their decision matter? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's so many factors that go into it. It's like difficult to even grasp.
So from a religious standpoint, the opposing view, how do you feel about painkillers and sedating people when they are in the act of feeling pain and restraining? And you know how restraints used to be available to actually restrain people when they are in so much pain that they are hurting themselves. So we give them painkillers. Do you feel that's much different than having someone not go through all that pain and discomfort and psychological problems as well, like taking in all the emotions that family has to leave work and go to the hospital right away and see a patient or a family loved one go through all that? You think everyone wants to see their loved one go through all this stuff?